As far as I am concerned, talismans were fixed in version 2.0 of Monster Hunter Rise. Now that I have had plenty of time to continue farming talismans in version 3.0 of the game, I can say without a doubt that the talisman melding system works perfectly. I am getting a diverse pool of talismans. I am not getting any repeated talismans. I am getting a mixture of good talismans, bad talismans, and useless talismans. It does not feel like I am in a specific table, and I definitely checked to make sure. All in all, I feel like the talisman system works as it was intended. I feel like this is a good system. Unfortunately, I also feel that it is not very fun. Let's talk about it. I am a hunter that has completed absolutely everything that the game has to offer. I currently sit at Hunter rank 260 with a playtime of 334 hours. Quite honestly, about 70 to 80% of that playtime has been talisman farming. Initially, in version 1.0 of the game, I was in the gout table, and I knew that it was impossible for me to get any good talismans. I spent a lot of time farming Narwa and saving the materials for when the talisman system was fixed. I say this because I want to make it very clear that I have gone through the thick and the thin of talisman farming. I have put in the time. By now, I have melded over 1,000 talismans and I have been able to get the whole spectrum, the good, the bad, and the ugly. After all of this time and all of this farming, I started feeling that something was wrong and that something was not working out. I want to make it very clear that I do not think it is the system itself. Now that it has been fixed, the system makes sense. The system works and the system gives good results. For the past few weeks, I have been trying to figure out what the problem could be that makes me feel like talisman farming is boring, and I have come to the conclusion that there is an important disconnect between hunting the monsters and getting the talismans. Allow me to explain. In order to establish my point, I will be making a direct comparison to decoration farming in Monster Hunter World. Please understand that I will be comparing base Monster Hunter World with Monster Hunter Rise. Iceborne is a master rank or a G rank game, and it would not be fair to compare it to a high rank game. For this reason, comparisons will be between base Monster Hunter World and version 3.0 of Rise. Let's talk about my main problem with talismans in Rise, the disconnect. To me, a disconnect happens when there is a mechanic or a factor in the game that removes you from its world or its gameplay. In Monster Hunter Rise, talisman farming has a huge disconnect. After you're done hunting a monster, you can't just move on to the next hunt. You have to go to the melder, extract your talismans, and then input more materials so that you get a new set of talismans after the next hunt. If you have a large amount of materials, then you can generate more talisman sets that you can then pick up after every hunt, or you can wait until they are all done and pick them up all at once. While this removes the material input issue, it does not eliminate the fact that you have to make a stop after every hunt or after an undetermined amount of time to pick everything up. Overall, the amount of time this takes is not much. It's a mere seconds, maybe 1 minute if you're slow. But the time it takes is not the point. The point is that it causes an interruption, a break of immersion, or a disconnect from the action. If you decide to wait until a full batch of 10 talisman sets is ready for pickup, then you definitely cut out the interruption. But that means that you're going a full 10 hunts without receiving any feedback, whether good or bad, from the farming. This is not good. Now, there is definitely a subjective element to this. Maybe you do not care about this disconnect, or it doesn't affect you as much as it affects me. Or maybe you do not need a constant feedback on your farming efforts. In that case, more power to you, as you will get more enjoyment out of the endgame of Rise. That being said, it will definitely be better if the game simply gave you talismans at the end of every hunt in the rewards. Blank talisman drops that you appraise at the end of the hunt, the harder the monsters you face or the quest you take, the better the chances to get good talismans. Basically, the same system that Monster Hunter World used for decorations. With this system, everything was immediate. You finish the hunt, you get your decorations, you see what they are, and then you are either happy because you got something good, or you are salty because you did not get that stupid attack jewel with a 1,000,000 to 1 drop rate. I must have spent about 800 hours in base world and never got a single one. Regardless, one thing is certain though, no matter what you got, as soon as the loading screen back to the hub was finished, you were immediately dropping into another quest. The transition was almost immediate. Not only this, but Monster Hunter World had a secondary farming objective besides decorations. You also had to farm for those stream stones that would give you parts to augment your weapons. Now, I am not saying that this was a good system. On the contrary, streamstone farming was absolutely horrible and I am happy they got rid of it. The point I am trying to make is that even with the streamstones, you got them as rewards at the end of the quest and you appraised them right then and there. For better or for worse, you knew exactly what you were getting before you were back at the hub. This made it much quicker to simply jump into the next quest. Whether you prefer to farm decorations or talismans, the delivery system is the most important thing in order to keep the player engaged further and continuing to run one more hunt. The more time that you add in between hunts, the greater the chance of a player deciding to no longer play. The concept of just one more is very important for games like Monster Hunter that have a definitive gameplay loop. The more you delay that next game, the less efficient the loop becomes. I have found that this disconnect leaves a bad taste, and it causes me to dislike the system as a whole. I used to think that I preferred to farm decorations over talismans, but this is simply not true. I prefer the delivery system of World's decoration farming, and if Monster Hunter Rise will have the same delivery system for farming talismans, I would not be feeling this way. But this is just my opinion, and I am very interested in hearing yours. Do you like the current talisman farming system in Monster Hunter Rise? Do you prefer the quest reward system? Do you think that I am simply delusional? Please, do not hesitate to let me know in the comments below. For now, allow me this opportunity to thank you for your time, and I hope that I get to see you on the next one.